So tonight, a speaker will be discussing on artificial intelligence in leadership and financial management. Introduce our resource speaker tonight. Of course, he's not new to us because he talked or he's one of our resource speakers in our transformational leadership masterclass. Okay, we invited him again because we believe that his expertise, his competence, and excellence would enhance and equip us with skills necessary as education leaders, particularly on topic on artificial intelligence. Okay, so this speaker would always want the class to be engaging, which means to say that you have to open your camera because once in a while he would ask you to comment or make some, uh, a comment and participate in our discussion. Okay, he is not a traditional resource speaker. He does not use PowerPoint presentation. He used his excellence and expertise in the field. So we need to listen to his discussion. Okay, a resource speaker is an expert also in this field, not only in leadership, but also in artificial intelligence because he's a space scientist. He's a scientist. Okay. So let's move on. Dr. TPS Sasikumar is a life mentor, space scientist, science communicator, a poet, author, educationist, motivational speaker, psychological life, career counseling expert, image building, peak performance coach, spiritual master with the Malayan tradition, conscious living commune associate, exponent on Indian heritage, philosophy, Bhagavad Gita, and Sanatana Dharma. So far since 2000, for the past 22 years, reached to more than 1 million its teachers, parents and students. Well, he also appeared and interviewed, okay, different media platforms, okay, particularly on Discovery TV with Kumba and Melatalk, acting in short films, TEDx Talk, yeah, okay, very interesting. UNNGO talks and the Bhagavad Gita classes, workshops, residential camps for 1,048 hours non-stop classes, 6,500 students in a session for 6 hours and 50,000 public and 1,200 BTech in sessions, etc. special for Dr. TPS. So he's really an expert and he could discuss a lot of topics under the sun. That's why I am always very excited to invite him in our masterclass. So with that, let's give now uh, Dr. TPS a virtual round of applause as he will discuss with us tonight, okay, on topic on artificial intelligence in educational leadership and financial management. Magandang gabi, mabuhay, Dr. TPS. Namaste.
Thank you, my brother, Professor Mario, lead Global Philippines certified AI Educator Masterclass. I'm glad that I am with you today because today is a great day for India. We celebrate today as the day of education in the spiritual Indian spiritual belief. It's a day of celebrations on education, win over problems, and all that. And I'm talking to my country with great enthusiasm in learning. Education, leadership, most essential, added with financial management. One is life-giving education, and the another one is life-making programs mixed together. And AI, when we talk about artificial intelligence, it has been in use for many applications in industrial, transportation, management, etc., etc. And later, probably it's too late when it comes to online, social media, people started using it here and there, but not exactly. It came as a methodology for improving curriculum, engagement of students' activities, professional development, curriculum development, evaluation methodology. How do we use it for research, innovation? How do we use it in the inclusion of education? That means nobody in the world need to be out of education today. Everybody can be part of it. I wrote a book 17 years back, which is called Adaptive Learning. Adaptive Learning, in which I used the class need not be the same for everybody. Based on each individual, how much you know, from there we can start the class. Now today what we are doing is I am giving a lecture where your background is not evaluated. Each one of you will have different background, different knowledge, different levels of ability. You're all educators, senior level people who understand probably much better than me. There may be somebody who knows already all these aspects, but still I am talking because I am talking, taking as a base level, assuming this is the level and I am trying to build up something. So what is done by adaptive learning? Each one of you can evaluate how much you know from the syllabus and then start from that step upward. So don't have to waste time. So your accessibility, inclusion of your ability to learn from whatever level gives you an adaptability. These are all abilities with artificial intelligence. The implementation in education is a big problem because it's all dealt by people who are not exposed to artificial intelligence. So such master class I am sure will help people to understand the educational leadership, under which you need a lot of AI expert to be um, recruited so that you can use the ability to the maximum extent. Therefore, 10 people are working under you. You can replace by one person who is an AI expert tomorrow. So therefore, it will have a financial advantage. All the budgeting of your accounts department can be replaced by one or two people who knows AI. HR can be done by one or two people. So there is a lot of advantage in the human resource, the 5M which we talk about: man, material, mission, money, all that can be taken care of. Marketing simply possible through AI. So what is the, I am not going to talk about the foundation of AI, the history of AI. I'll directly go to the crux of the problem. I don't know how many of you are exposed to different levels of AI. There are different levels of AI when we talk about a narrow artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, very, very specific task, which is not very generic. What we see in the chat GPT or something is very generic. Train only on very specific things and then get things done. That can be like Siri, Alexa, all that system what we see on the Netflix, Spotify, all these autonomous vehicles, they are only very specific. Autonomous vehicle only for running vehicle. So they are also artificial intelligence, but that is very specific. So that artificial intelligence is called a narrow, very specific, limited applications of artificial intelligence. It cannot take all the requirements. Trained for one and do that job. The another one is a generic artificial intelligence. What is general artificial intelligence? We can understand from what is happening around. Google is one example where they learn so many things and then start answering you. You don't even have to answer. Ask the question very specific. It interprets and identifies this is what the question is. Right? The ability to understand, learn, apply knowledge, and then learn from what you are doing on the computer, understand your character, style of living, all that it will do. So that is very generic, it's flexible, it's adaptive. The way I was talking about adaptive, it's adaptive. The adaptivity is the adaptivity, and it becomes autonomous. Not necessarily it is very specific. You can program it the way you want, you can make it the way you want, but generally it will be very common. All people can access the way they want. It will create its own style of making things happen. So all these are different styles of methodologies used for programming. Based on that, the AI have got a specific and generic, narrow and general. Another one is like a super AI, artificial intelligence, which becomes a real intelligence, where the ability for the system to learn, solve problems, including emotional intelligence. It can be used for understanding the characteristics. It becomes a hypothetical questions. It asks a lot of questions, left and right, here and there, related questions, unrelated questions, solve problems for you, categorize you, understand what is the potential ability which you have, what is not you have, what are the concerns of people can have. Even for psychological treatment, can be used. Risk evaluation, ethical concerns, all these can be done. So AI have got multiple levels now. Now we must understand, when it comes to academics, there are many things. One is personalized learning, my ability to individual students, how they want to learn, what they want to learn. Generally, learning is WWWWH, where, when, what, why, how, all these questions have to be asked. So create lesson plans, learning material, keep the syllabus, make AI ability, how, like a dream box, where lot of questions should come. It's like a smart sparrow which keeps on kicking on the box to understand where, what, when, why, how. What is happening in the classroom is a tutoring. We teach. What is AI can provide? An intelligent tutoring. Not everybody gets same class. Not like a class, a teacher, one person teaching 40 students. AI can provide one-to-one. Each student can be evaluated based on their ability. So it saves a lot of time. Anybody can repeat as and when they want. They can stop, they can repeat, they can go in slow pace, they can run in fast pace, they can run it so slowly, ask them to repeat, take exams in middle, find out what mistakes have been done, go for only that portion of the class for learning it again and again. So these ability to make your class very specific for each one, based on your input, your ability, your way of learning, the classes can be controlled. That is what is called the intelligent tutoring system. Artificial intelligence provides you a intelligent tutoring system. Grading becomes automatic, because in between the questions can come. I was part of the highest body of education in India, which is called University Grants Commission. So we had, after every 10-15 minutes of class, one quiz competition. In the quiz, we ask what happened in the class, so that we can evaluate, we can understand whether this much is understood, then build up from the next. So grading system and assessment becomes part of the teaching itself. It is not the end of the course. It is every day, every class. After every small portion being completed, there will be questions asked. So assessment becomes very automatic. assignments, quizzes, subjective questions, like long essay, all that can be evaluated so easily. The teachers are not avoided, teachers are must. But teachers become producers, they become mentors, they become supporters. Therefore, the teachers' feedback can be very quick, evaluation can be very quick, the workload on the teachers becomes so low. All this becomes a routine activity which doesn't require an emotional human activity, can be given to AI. Student engagement becomes so simple because it becomes flexible. The retention power of the students can be assessed, analyzed, behavior pattern can be analyzed, interventions very easily can be done, understand which student is at risk where they need a proper guidance. All these are possible. Now, for example, in the MOOC, massive open online courses, the Coursera, the platform Coursera, uses AI monitoring tools for engaging students and completion of the ratings. All these are being used already. These are not open online courses alone. We can also adapt in our classrooms. So it will become not totally automatic, but semi-automatic style. We can use wherever it is convenient and supplement the teacher's ability, supplement the teacher's classroom, curriculum development, evaluation, analysis. All this can be done so easily. The environment of education in the AI scenario, I keep saying the third decade of 21st century. We are not talking about 21st century education, not 100 years of education. We are talking about third decade. That means this is 2024. What will happen next 5 years? Next 5 years, our classrooms must be totally AI powered classroom. The teacher professional development should become how AI can support the teaching, how AI can support the training, how AI can identify what improvements can be done in my ability to the classroom management. How do I take care of the performance of the students and the outcome? How my coaching tools can be AI powered? How my techniques can be become so real time so that anybody across the globe, anywhere in the world, people can access my class. So AI powered learning analytics is most important. Evaluation is more important. The patterns of learning, the decision making, institution as a whole, class wise, subject wise, all these can be like a beautiful graph. The research activity which happens in artificial intelligence, education system must undergo based on the situation, based on the classroom, based on the topic, based on the background, make the AI to accelerate, improve the educational research, analyzing, data wise, identify the data, create the data, make sure that these are all the minimum starting point where I am doing, experiment it by generating an analysis on what is presently available and create and slide. Maybe next 1 year aim should be the end of the year. My classroom is totally an AI supported classroom. Adaptive learning, I already spoke about adaptive learning. The real-time path. I can decide what I want to learn based on my performance. Somebody else can learn as they want. There are beautiful lessons available on adaptive learning. Artificial intelligence based adaptive learning. Virtual teaching assistances. I am a teacher, but I can always call upon like a chat box, a chat boot, chat tutoring methodology, reduce my time and effort by calling somebody into my classroom. So they're all controlled classroom teachers under very specific requirements where I need the support. So they're all my assistants. So I can have a virtual teaching assistant under me. They can be used in your classrooms. Accessibility of everyone, voice to text, text to voice, voice to speech, sign language, all these should happen automatically now. All that what we do, if I have a text, I can make it into whatever I am speaking now can be converted into a text, and that text can be my notebook. So somebody need not to take the ability of or the time consuming job of making class notes. Whatever I am speaking can be as it is. You go to my YouTube, play it under AI, all these text will come, so you can create a beautiful text. I use this, and that is how the captions are done. You want to translate in whichever language you want, online it is possible. You can see all the cinema dialogues, the dubbing, all that comes as the text based on your requirement. So real time captions, all these possible today. These are all done through AI. If in classroom we are not using, we are only using for entertainment, it is bad on us. Whatever is happening in the whole world, if somebody is speaking in China, Russia, America, and you wanted to listen in your language, it must be convertible. You must be able to access it. Google gives you all these abilities. So use all the AI powered, the Google powered AI, and all the specific classroom abilities. This is where the education management educators I wanted to tell. There are a lot of gamified education learning. Game makes children at the early age, children love to have a lot of games. The gamified learning is one of the greatest thing which changed the education system at all. The other day I was talking about the A to Z of education, age 3 to grade 3, in which I don't call the students as tiny tots. I am calling it as tech tots. Technologically oriented tiny tots are replaced by tech tots, technology oriented small kids. So light, noise, levels, systems, classrooms, tracking, scheduling, all that, and becomes all the resources for everyone to access the classrooms. Adapt all these ability for a real life, real time classroom, including the feedback from the students. You can assess how many they are. You can have a video, identify which student is behaving what style. Analysis can be automatically done. So AI administration, AI education administration, AI powered administration, AI powered educational institutions, AI powered course planning, AI powered student monitoring, AI powered admissions, AI powered evaluation, everything is very common and it can be easily used. AI and virtual augmented reality in education. VR, virtual reality. I don't want to show the pictures in the notebooks today. I can take the lion in the classroom. I can take any fellow, any animal live on my classroom. It can make the sound, it can make the movie, it can make everything around me. So why do you want to make pictures to show that the lion is there? So I remember the other day I was teaching somewhere. I was having my dinner and the animal is near me. So we can take the class, any animal, any bird, any creature in the world live into my classroom. So AR, augmented reality, and virtual reality, the learning experience of the young children, to the including if somebody wanted to show the DNA pattern, I'm sure nobody can draw on the board. It can be all VR. I remember 20 years back we used to make videos. Now we don't have to make videos. It can be live. You change the situation scenario, it will give you that. We have got beautiful examples like Z Space, Class VR. All these are publicly available today. We can use all that. Enhanced social learning platforms, Edmodo, Pisa, all these will give you different ability for students to interact on social learning platforms. Intelligent content, real-time feedback, not from the teacher alone, from the whole world, from whole the universe. because it's a social media platform. You can have learning instead of time pass, fun, movie, all that can be changed into classroom learning. Everyone at a different level, at different grades, different subjects, always can be on the social media platform. The predictive analysis, the performance of students, always I can have a behavior pattern, a performance pattern, understand and how to improve. A prediction can be done. What is going to happen in the universities, in which course, where, how, what will happen to them, all that can be predicted. So there is a predictive analysis, and the performance of students can be graphed perfectly so that I know the analysis becomes easy for me. I already told the content creation and the curriculum. And what is fit for what, whom, which subject. Everybody can take it. The education should become like a buffet system. Every counter you have got different education, different classrooms. People can go and pick up and learn. It's not like a plate meals where everything is served on your table. It's not a table serving now. It is going to be a buffet. You go to the food counter and then select whatever you want. It's like an exhibition. Educators are like exhibitors. Students will come and then pick up whatever they want. The content creation and curriculum, pick up whatever you want and put them together. They will tell you this much I picked up. You can tell this more bits you have to add up. Then you will get a degree. So the education is going to be such a flexible system now. It's not no more going to be a traditional one. It's going to be totally non-traditional. Learning is not end when you finish your graduation, post-graduation, PhD. It's a lifelong process. I want to jump from one job to another job. I can pick up a small learning, jump from that to another one. I'm sure we are all aware of Coursera, Udemy, LinkedIn Learning, all these online MOOC courses, massive online open courses, MOOC. These are all very common today now. Many of my students who are into engineering, before getting admission into engineering itself, they finished their syllabus. That is how they are going to classrooms. So they got degree from the international universities and they are going to small colleges. The small colleges is a routine program because they have to get the practicals and all that. What is to be learned from the international scenario, they already learned. This can be practically possible today. Okay. So now coming back to the deep learning, mission learning, supervised learning, all these are higher levels where we wanted to. I cannot finish all these discussions today because it's a huge topic. How do you reinforce learning? How do you make the characteristics very, very learning architecture? How do you create the system? How neural networks can be done? How the conventional neural network to the very specific ones? What is to be done? The resignment, the analysis part of it, the personalized learning part of it. All these with what I said, the predictive thing, automatic grading, curriculum development, student engagement, assessing and inclusion, AI enhanced material. Ultimately, what happens is this needs to be in the natural language processing systems because it is happening on the globe at different places in different languages. Probably you need to have it in your own natural language. The natural language processing system has to be very powerful. That is NLP. Foundations is most essential. It's not neuro-linguistic programming, natural language processing which I am talking about. The task can be different. The entry can be different. The typed ones can be in English, but you want to get it into your language. So the translation, speech recognition, text summarization, understanding my vocabulary from your language to convert it into English, that is also essential. So language processing has to be very powerful, which is one of the most probably difficult situation. It's not the way I am speaking. My brother will speak, somebody else will speak. Speech recognition has to be little more tactfully done. The personalized learning is good, but when the student is giving an answer in the local, his style of speaking, how do you convert them into text so that AI can evaluate? That is why you have in the Alexa and all that your sound recognition, your vocabulary recognition, your style recognition, 2-3 times you have to speak and then they recognize. So these sort of system has to be understood and made. That is what the first ability what the AI has to be powered with. So the language learning tools have to be very powerful. This is one of the major requirements probably for individual recognition. Otherwise, the major system in English language or whichever language you are creating can do all the processing. It can manage perfectly well. So AI powered educational leadership is not a very difficult task, but it is data driven. What is being given inside is what is being used. The information is from the decision what is already informed to the system. So real-time data analysis power has to be there. Identifying a pattern, categorizing them, putting them in table, and making the prediction and making forecasting, enrollment predictions, early warning systems, personalized. And one of the thing is how secure, safe is this? Whether it can create problems. Number one. Number two, how financially feasible it is. The financial burden, not in the beginning in one class. How is it going to be? Because we are not using our system, somebody's system we are using. The AI is not what we developed, somebody else developed. Whether this will happen in the way what we wanted. The resource allocation. See, for example, ChatGPT 1, 2, 3 is free. 4, 5 onwards, it is very costly. And whatever you are giving input, they may tap and use it somewhere else. How secure is this? So the capacity planning, the whole world will know how much is your capability, how many people you have. Your statistics cannot be kept in secret. These are all, many other countries can use it for their own purposes. So advantages are there, but there are some very, very alarming care which you have to take. Understand where the data is going, what purpose it is going, all your data will go. That is what happens sometimes. So the challenges which you have to consider, the bias, somebody can evaluate you and then make you dull because you are handing over the whole ability of your students to somebody else to govern. AI is not controlled by us. So maybe every student is demotivated sometime. A country can make the other country to suffer. The colonization in the earlier tradition was in some style. But tomorrow it can be in a different style. So this is one. There is a risk involved in any system which we use for which the total control is not in our hand. Because it's a dynamic world. It's a fast moving world. We are handing over our generation to the next hand of somebody else. Therefore, very carefully, very legitimately, what is to be done, what cannot be done, how it is to be done, has to be understood carefully. Otherwise, it could be risky sometimes. This is what is to be understood. So, data-driven adaptation, adjustment, all these has to be understood in the careful style, careful way. Understand, we can create our own model, put to the system in our style, modify in the way we want it, individualized, customize it in our style, integrate with the intelligent system the way we want it. Probably the evaluation, diagnosis, dealing with the students, talking to them can be under your control. If that sort of a modification can be done, it can be more secure. That is one activity which we have to take out. The quality, fantastic. Addressing the biases, God only knows. There can be bias in the algorithms. A student in America and student in Philippines or India can be having a different feelings when they work with the same system. So the strategy of reducing the bias need to be understood by experimenting it very carefully. Identify the disparities reduce the disparities. That's what we wanted actually. Disparity should not be there. Because we are talking not about a class which is in the local place, in the global scenario. The interventions can be different. The culture can be not the way what we have in the classroom culture. So people become a global student. So what will happen to them? What will happen to our traditional culture? That is to be analyzed perfectly. So all these are small, but not that small. Sometimes our traditional values, cultural values, all that has to be understood. Now coming to the financial management in education. Understood very carefully, there is lot of ability to reduce 5M. You don't require real classes. You don't require large buildings, large facilities, not lot of manpower. Material can be reduced. So it has got a lot of advantage. AI for financial forecasting, time series analysis and all that you can use and find out how beneficial is AI usage in your academic institutions. You can understand how best is that. Budgeting, cost estimation, cost optimization, and when I talked about the risk management, mitigation, risk assessment, all that has to be understood. The fraud detection, prevention. If you want to customize for yourself, you will have to invest that much. How do you make sure the insurance? Assume that there is a fraud comes. Is it possible to insure? Whether you can analyze and see the data is not taken. If somebody has taken, how do you sue them for this? Okay. The resource allocation, optimized resource allocation is possible within your limited. Like supply chain management is using AI quite a lot. Education itself have got material, technology, services, manpower, inventory, all that comes in education also. So all these as it is can be taken. Only when it comes to the students' individual assessment, evaluation, teaching methodology, we need to be little specific. Facility management, AI was fantastic. Today it is being done. I remember last year itself I have given a class on the transportation, how supply chain management uses AI and all that. Usage of data, downtime, repairing cost, optimization, consumption, security, all this can be done by AI. You don't require physical security, everything can be AI. Identification, your ID card, expenses, you look at every small things for the whole education system. All this can be reduced. So education can made very easily because everything is electronic, everything is in AI. But again, the privacy and data security, the student data protection, data ownership, compliance of regulations, bias and fairnesses, which already I told you. How do you take care of this? Accountability and transparency, very clear. Once somebody moves from one system to another system, one school to another system, the whole data goes because the whole history of the student is available under his card. Every student is an ID number under his, the whole history of his education, exams, where he failed, how many times he appeared, how many times he wrote. These are all histories. All these are available. You can jump from one to another one and then see that you fail it. You can take the next exam and then go step by step also. Whether student has ventured to take risk of writing higher examination. All this can be seen. Therefore, you cannot categorize a student by saying that no, he is a slow learner. Sometimes he was a fast learner for some subjects, for some other subject he is. You can recognize by which subject, how, when, where he studied when. Different expertise at different places and then conduct your classes. These are all great abilities which if you don't use it today, we are going to be in loss. Advantages have to be used at the technological advantages have to be used. Now we know that even a Zoom which was existing 20 years back, we have not used it because there was no need, we thought. But when COVID came, everybody jumped into that. So if we don't jump into AI today, a day will come, you will not be able to do anything without AI. So if your children, your students, the next generation, I don't talk about third decade now, fourth decade of 21st century. Now 2030 onwards, the world, everything will be AI based. Now, you have to make your children smarter. You have to make your children the future AI leaders. Make your children AI based educators. Make your children AI based financial experts. Because every business, every management is based on finance. Nothing runs in this world without money. So, money, material, mission, market, and manpower. AI learning is essential for manpower so that all the other 4M can be controlled very carefully. This is what I have to tell you. If you have any questions, I'll be the most gladdest person to address your questions. Good enough, my brother Mario?
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Dr. TPS. Okay, and thank you for sharing some of your, of course, expertise as regards to educational leadership. You discuss about personalized learning, grading, authenticity of grading, AI-powered classroom, adaptive learning, also augmented reality in the classroom, and well, AI as a tool for predictive analysis. In the same way, you also have discussed concepts on AI in financial management, which covers, of course, budgeting, cost optimization, fraud detection, facility management, data privacy, security, and a lot more. So I hope our students were able to get something from you, and that we will devote some of your time for answering some of the questions. And later on, towards the end of the session, you have to give them two questions for them to work on. So I think there's one question in our chat box, Dr. TPS. Yeah, let's just try to read. Give it a while. Okay, so lots of learning. Okay. So, other than questions, my dear students, please. Um, Dr. TPS is expert, of course, in space. He's a space scientist and also an expert in AI. So, he contributed to the development of curriculum in India. He also worked in the government before his retirement as a cabinet secretary in India. And because of his skills, I think he's very knowledgeable. So, what ethical considerations should teachers address when integrating AI in financial decision making, Dr. TPS?
Um, the problem is now when we give AI based education, the basic core methodology is not in our hand. So what will happen is when we when we do things, probably there will be free AI platforms available for you. Like I was talking about Chat GPT 1, 2, 3 version is free, but they have their own limitations. They are not the right answers. If you look at all the AI generic, give the same question to 3, 4 different platforms, you get different answers because they use their own data. So you cannot blame when somebody gives a wrong conclusion to you that why they are giving it. You wanted to access the real data, probably which is in a covered website. You ask about Dr. TPS, sometime it will not get you all the details from my website because it's not open for the public say. Now you use the ChatGPT 4.5 version. It becomes a financial requirement. When you ask such questions, they also may be keeping track of who are all asking, where are they asking, why are they asking. All these will become a spy on each of the individuals. So this will have an implication in the strategic world tomorrow. Is it ethical or not is a big question. Somebody is spying on you, what are you asking? In a classroom, when you ask questions, teachers don't spy you, right? But here it's not the situation. Now assume tomorrow you want to order some item. Immediately let you know your sugar is too much. You cannot order this sweet. because it have all the data of you. That's what happens. And you wanted to take a loan from somewhere, to tell you know, in the other bank you already had this much loan repayment pending, because everything is connected today. Similar things can happen tomorrow. Now today a student can try on admission at different places. Tomorrow assume that you are a slow learner, automatically the institution will tell you you are a slow learner, you will not get admission. Even if you have passed with a high score, they know the whole statistics how good you are, and it's your duty to convince somebody that saying I was bad earlier but today I am good. Whether that provision will come or not is a big question now, because every academic institution wants students the highest scoring people, where they become good result oriented to teaching. These are all something. So how good your country, our country is, where I can take stock of every developments for using totally. Am I using some other countries softwares? How safe is that? This is a big question to be answered. So there can be
Yeah.
we cannot say it is illegal, but non-ethical items can happen. So strategy has to be very clear.
Okay, next question, Professor TPS.
Yeah.
In what areas of education do you recommend AI to be applied?
Yes, definitely yes. All areas it can be used. I don't say in what. Medical, yes, because you cannot show most of the internal parts and all that decision making. You can take help of the whole world. Engineering, 100% perfect. From early childhood, I wrote 4 books for early childhood in which AI is a part of it. So I am saying from the early childhood education, 3.5 years, 3 years to grade 3. I am talking about the highest education. Research, yes, 100%. All the research areas now I have to access what is happening in the rest of the world. Earlier it's not a big problem. Today, by the time I start my job, somebody would have already completed the PhD in similar area. Whatever I am doing become waste. So I have to access the data throughout the world, identify what is the conclusion so that I can use it in my research. We have to run much faster. That is very, very essential.
Okay, thank you. Another question, Dr. TPS. According to some, that one of the best when it comes to AI are Indians. And what bits of advice could you give to those who are unaware yet that AI will become huge as time goes by? Yes. Well, Lead Philippines is collaborating with EduCloud's India, and the United Kingdom. So I think you're expert in artificial intelligence. Would you like to make a comment on that, Dr.
See,
TPS?
the advantage of Indian education is our basic education up to 10th class. That means up to the teenage, up to the, it's very, very strong. We have a family based education system in which it is not the responsibility of the government, it is not responsibility of the society. Each parent makes sure the children learn maths, physics, chemistry, biology, the basic sciences. If you are strong in basic science, I am sure you can do most of the things in the world. So India has a great advantage because we have done a strong basic education. Great, number one. Number two, we have got what is called the IIT. You look at IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Science. Though you may not see them as ranked in the whole world the great, but as an academic institution, the training which happens in the brightest of the brightest students is fantastic. Only through merit they can get admission. Probably in the best university in America, somebody can pay money and get admission. But in Indian academic institutions, the best institutions, nobody can get education with payment of money, bribing, power, position, only through merit. So it's a totally merit-oriented academic institution. So that is very strong in India. Up to graduation, India has a strong ability. Maybe beyond that, the higher education, research and all that, India is little down because we don't have that much of money. Our population is too large, so we cannot support everybody. Basic education up to graduation, India is very strong. That is why we can have a lot of collaboration up to that level. Yes, possible.
Yes. Yeah, and we're competitors in the BPO industry. Yeah. Of course, India has a lot of manpower. Also, the Philippines, because number one, we have good communication skills. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I think please comment on this. What leadership qualities should be emphasized in financial management education to prepare future leaders managing financial risk and opportunities?
See, I think I already spoke about financial management is not independent. The 5M principles are always related. I cannot dump material without knowing when, what stage I have to dump. So, material also needs money. Though we say 5M, M is money, another one is material, another one is marketing, another one is manpower, another one is the um, uh, ability to make things happen, no? The production. Mission. I must invest at the right time, at the right mission, at the right technology. I must have the right material at the right time. If all these cannot be put together, that means a cohesive, comprehensive, very strategic move of all the 5M together makes the financial part very great. So you need a great leadership who will understand not finance alone. That is why we talk about training and development. Every department has a training and development. What is training? Each department, material department people get training, finance department material people get training, HR department people get training. All these people, when it comes to development, you have to pick the best out of it, put at the higher leadership. The highest leadership always should have the greatest people who knows all the other departments carefully. So the CEO, the chief operating officer, the chief financial officer is not one who is specialized only in finance, not in economics alone. He must have all the ability, she must have all the ability to understand every different department. So education basically is for a human power development, for a futuristic world. So my strategy should be I am investing as much as I can so that my return on investment is not immediate. It may take 20 years. It is the future of the country for which I am investing. So don't expect any financial benefit. Don't give it into the hands of normal finance people. They will always compute return on investment and say, yo, the education business is not very good because there is no return. That is why government has to take initiative. Long-term investment in education is for the purpose of the society. The public must show interest. No private business people will invest that much for education because return on investment is very slow. This has to be understood very carefully. This is what I have to give you as an advice.
Okay, another question. We enjoy listening to your
Yeah.
discussion, Dr. TPS. How academic institutions can bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge skills in financial decision making.
I
So how
think
can
everything in the world is the performance. The performance P is equal to skill plus opportunity plus attitude. What we make by theoretical learning is a set of attitude, opportunities available. Unless we experiment, do it like a pilot project. Everything should start with one model. Create one model, create in your land, in your style. Don't copy from somewhere. Create your model at one small scale, that is called a pilot project. So every financial benefits have to be analyzed, every business has to be analyzed based on one pilot project which you can create. I am sure that success will make other people to copy it and use it at different places. So practical implementation is very, very essential.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening right now in the Philippines. Sometimes we look into different models abroad, okay, Western models, and that we try to imitate. So it's good that you have mentioned that we need to, that we should come up with our own model, with our own, uh, well, let's say a model that emerged from the practices that we have, because I believe that we also have different culture. Okay, I think this is a very interesting question, Dr. TPS. You mentioned a while ago that AI should be applied from early childhood up to tertiary level of education. Would you allow preschool to primary aged children to access or engage with AI programs and tools of at their age? Would you encourage primary school learners and also preschoolers to use AI? programs?
Yeah, definitely. Whatever we have in the textbooks today, which are not 3D model, which are not realistic, we have to show the pictures and then teach them. If you can show nothing like seeing it in front of you, why should I talk about this? The picture of a lion. Lion has got these characters. I can get the sound. I can get the feeling. I can get everything around me like a living being. So it's like I cannot go to the zoo to see the visit the place. I can get the place to my place. So the virtual reality, augmented reality, which I mentioned, which is part of the AI today. Augmented reality and artificial intelligence in classrooms have to be very common. I am sure if you go to Google, the 3D animal, you can straight away get the animals in your house. If your mobile has got a little graphic ability, I'm sure through the internet, in your classroom, in your house, you can get whatever animals you want. It's part of the Google wiki part of it, 3D models. Every child should play with it. The world people are playing. And if somebody is not doing at your home, that means you are depriving them from that ability. It has to be done. Teachers have must learn this and then see what can be used, what can be shown. Not that everything is to be exposed to the children. I am not saying children should be blindly exposed to everything. No. There has to be a supervised teachers who are exposed to this. Parents are educated to this so that they know what is to be shown, what should not be shown.
Yes, so it's a supervised AI education. So, of course, we need to use this in the classroom, but it has to be properly supervised by an expert person who's also knowledgeable with artificial intelligence. Because, we're going to just show something to students wherein we're not also aware of it and knowledgeable about this. So, I think they can enhance learning, they can improve learning in the classroom, just like videos. But listening to an animal, probably looking to an animal that's really alive in a virtual augmented reality, is something that is really very magical in the classroom, wherein students would enjoy looking into it. But again, it has to be supervised properly, also with parents. Okay, the videos that they use, the technology that they use in the classroom. So very well said. Thank you so much, Dr. TPS. We have a lot of questions in our chat box, and I know it's already time, and we value also your time. So before
I
we end
think
the
all of them
session,
are welcome to use my contact number and then see that they can use it.
yeah, I'll share it with them. Probably you can share
See,
your contact number.
I'm
Yeah, okay,
I'm
that's
just
it.
I'm just I'm just taking the 3D animal here. The 3D animal which will make sound. It can I can place it onto that. It will show you view in your place. If I click this, I can get it to my place. This is
That's
available on
nice. Yeah, that's
Wiki.
nice. But the problem in the Philippines is that number one, we don't have any available tools that are being used in the classroom, of course, and also connectivity. Okay, though we are tagged as the texting capital of the world, but using this tool, I think there's always a problem. Okay, especially those ones in the public schools. But in the private schools, we can always maximize the use of artificial intelligence because we have the facility, we have the equipment, we have the tools. So thank you so much, Dr. TPS. But before you go, again, okay, please to ask them two questions for them to work on. Okay?
I think Professor Mario, whatever questions they asked is of high level than what question I can give you, right? They have
Yeah,
asked a lot of great questions.
yeah. They have asked you high level questions.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
probably
So
probably the categorization of the AI, which I said, there are few categorizations which I mentioned, like narrow, general, and the super intelligence classification. If they can mention what is it and then write about it, that will be a good question. What are the types of
okay,
AI
so
today around here?
yeah, okay. So what are the different types of AI today, and give examples on it?
Yeah.
Is that the
And
question of
probably another
faculty?
question can be, which are all the massive open online courses, AI based courses, which can be accessed to, so that people will look at Coursera, edX, and such things, and then list down at least 10 of them. There are many, many. Okay, so
Okay, so
list down
you
all
list
the
down. Yeah.
AI based open online courses, massive open online courses, MOOC courses.
Okay, so you list down, and probably they will also describe on how they can use it in the classroom. So
Yes.
just to minimize the requirement, I think people are so busy with the job. So please just list down three massive online
Open courses.
open courses, okay, that can be used in the classroom in your
Yeah.
classroom. Okay, so how are you going to use this? So thank you so much, Dr. TPS. The first question, the levels of AI. Okay, and the second question is that you just have to enumerate some MOOCs, okay, program, and how are you going to use that in the classroom? At least three. Okay, so we'll not require our students to give 10 because that's too much for them, though they ask you difficult questions. And if you ask them difficult question, well, they will complain. That's not the Filipino culture. Yeah,
Thank you.
they're asking too much difficult question. But if you will ask them difficult question, I think they will tell me they don't have time to. But they can do that. Okay, they can do it if given enough time. But thank you so much.
I wish I can come there and then do some
Yes.
10 days of program on leadership training programs for educators
Yes,
physically. I'll
yeah,
try to
Dr.
come.
DPS, I'm planning that we could have 1 day session here, and we'll have the certification second level for them to become expert and a trainer of AI, and hope we could arrange a program here in the Philippines soon. Let me know if you're available towards the end of the year or maybe first quarter of 2025 for them
Thank you so much.
to experience the first class professor
Yeah.
in India. No? We will make some program and then we'll give them the certification level and give
Sure.
them a lot of examples, probably interactive, engaging lessons for our students. And thank you so much. Of course, Dr. Elizabeth was also with us last night, and it was a great learning experience to be with you. So let's take
Thank
a
you so much.
photo opportunity with our lecturer before you go. Okay, so please. Okay, yeah, for the first screenshot. Okay, first style. Okay, we're 57 in the classroom in the platform. First, a smile. Okay, second one, and a third one. Okay, Dr. TPS, we will visit you. Well, I will be visiting India in December because of a program. Okay, our
Thank you. Welcome.
yeah,
Welcome.
I'll see you there. Okay, we will have our Python Council of the Philippines, and we'll be bringing our students for competition for cultural and arts competition. Okay,
So let
so
me know where is it and what is happening so that I could also be part of it.
okay, thank you, Dr. TPS.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
yeah. So let's now move on to the to my session. Actually, there is no formal session, but